Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to host-tune-perform.com. And guys, this time, I have decided to create up a video for newbies who want to become a website developer, but they have technology constraint in understanding the different aspects of technologies. So what my intention for this series was to make sure that I create up a series for the people who are starting up with designing. So we will be taking up all the basic concepts. So even if you do not have the background of BTech engineering CSC, or if you are from ECE or from nuclear engineering and want to shift towards IT engineering and want to learn web designing for your own purpose as well, so this might be the course for you. So before we begin this course and I introduce you towards web designing, I must tell you one thing. Like there are a lot of ads going on around in the market saying that you can create websites without coding. You can just drag and drop and bring in stuff. So that is absolutely possible. You can do that using the content CMS system, that is content management system, such as WordPress or maybe some other content management system. We have Wix. We have a lot of ad for Wix content management system these days. But there is a limitation of using up management system while designing up the website. And if you know it on the very start while you learn website designing, it is better for you. So the limitation is the performance aspect. These websites really demand a great high infrastructure, but if you are designing it at your end, without the content management system, you can make it really very fast. So these are some few technologies which are required to design a website, and I would recommend you to grasp things whenever you are trying to understand something new. What you need is learn new words. So in a similar way, when you're saying you are learning website designing, so there are few languages. One is HTML, second is JavaScript, then we have CSS, and then we have Bootstrap. You do not know about them, that's good and fine, but I want you to learn these four words as of now, which is HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and Bootstrap. The next thing is I want you to make sure that you understand this thing, that Java language and JavaScript, both of them are very different. So let us move ahead of this slide and let you show up my website, that is host-tune-perform.org, which is a website which is also maintained by host-tune-perform.com. So if you look at this website is made up on Angular, and if I just click on I agree over here, and you see that this website has so much of content, but it is so fast. So this is hosted and it has so much of content, but this is still so fast. If I go over here and click here, so it moves to the YouTube channel. So how it is so fast? If I click over here on data privacy, you say it did not take a second. If I click on terms, it again comes so fast. So these days the basic and the most ultimate thing which is required is single page application. So what is that, and what all technologies are further required into it, so we will discuss about it. But this particular course is basically about these things, which is HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and Bootstrap. So you people might be wondering why we are only choosing these four technologies. Why I'm not talking about Angular, or why I'm not talking about React JS. So if you understand it correct, React JS, so React JavaScript. So that is an advanced version of JavaScript. Similarly, we have jQuery. So today, I want you to learn these words. I'm just repeating myself. jQuery, what is jQuery? jQuery is also a framework which is made up on JavaScript. What is a framework? What is jQuery? What is JavaScript? How it is run? We will talk about it. So these four languages are the base. If you want to use any other language such as Angular or any other framework, so framework is the right word. So if you want to use any other framework such as Angular or React JS to build up a single page application, before doing that, first thing which you need to understand for website designing is these four languages. So if I just move ahead, let me just move ahead to the next slide. So the next slide, like before you go ahead and like start building up your website, is like to understand what are different kind of websites. So what is static website and what is dynamic website? If I go to up my page on data privacy over here, if you see up this page, so this particular page just has text. So this is a static page. You cannot do anything out here. You cannot log in. So dynamic means you are doing something on the screen on the web browser and it is going to the server and then like it is giving you back the results. So if you people do not know, website designing is based on client server architecture where client is nothing but the browser. So if you see up my desktop, as a website designer, your world rotates around one software and that software is called as Google Chrome or the browser or Microsoft Edge. So this is nothing but the browser. So as a designer, your worlds revolve around this software and this browser itself runs on some desktop. So this is my desktop. If I go over here and say this PC, so this is my desktop and this is nothing but a client machine. So as like we have this machine, in the similar way we have another machine at some other location which have few files, such as if I go over here, website designing and this. So you have some web server which have some files which are like this. So if you see these files have some code written in some language inside them. So forget about it, like what kind of language it is. So as of now, just understand that we have .html at the end, .html file, .css file. In this similar way, we have .js file, and Bootstrap is itself a framework on CSS. So it is again CSS file. So these are nothing but different pages which can be seen on the browser. So if I just uh, go back to the normal size and just open up this index.html, so here you can see very well that this particular website is like being taken up from my local. So you see over here, this website is D drive, files, web designing, host, dash tune, dash perform, and index.html. So if I go back, this is the same path as this. Whereas when you type in a URL, you type something like this. So you type something which starts with this and like ends with .com. So what actually it means, this is nothing but a location of the drive of the server. So this https www.google.com tells the browser to pick up the file from a machine which is similar to this machine and which has some files like these kept on them. So whenever I type something like https www.host-tune-perform.org and hit enter, so it will like give me this website. What is this website? This website is nothing but an HTML page like these. So data privacy is a different HTML page. You see over here, data privacy is a different HTML page. Then if we go to disclaimer, it is a different HTML page. But these files are not on your system. As of now, these files are on my system, my local system, and we call it as local host. So another term which I want you to learn is local host. What is local host? Local host is your client machine. is the name of your client machine. So you recognize your client machine with this word, which is localhost, and you say that the browser is listening on port 80. So you have to learn these things, which is like localhost port 80 and localhost port 443. So 80 is for HTTP and 443 is for HTTPS, right? So if I go back to my browser, so you see over here that this particular website is on HTTPS, right? So what is this HTTPS? This is Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure, and like using this protocol, this particular browser brings in these files from the server to your machine, that is the client machine, and then this particular browser is capable of reading up this HTML file or CSS file, and it places all of the content in front of you. Now, what is the purpose of these four languages and what all these four languages do? So this will be the area of discussion, like for this tutorial series. In this we will learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript and Bootstrap. These are the basic elements of designing up any website such as this. So before we go ahead and close up this chapter, we have already discussed on the types of website, which are static website and dynamic website. Let us see the architecture. So if you see, I have already told you that there will be a server machine. On this server machine, there will be some files which will be kept up like this. And as soon as you like hit up something like this, these files will be like taken up from the server and will be brought back to your browser, which is nothing but the client machine, which is again uh, this machine. You can do it on laptop, on mobile or on desktop. So this is like a architecture in which you have only one server, but as a website designer, and like considering today's world and like the population and the amount of data it has, working on an architecture which has only one server does not make any sense. So we have a lot of other servers as well. So as we have so many servers and like they are talking to each other, and at the end any action which is done over here, so when you say that I'm opening up facebook.com, and if I sign over here, so what exactly is happening? A request is going to the server is checking up my email address and my password, and then it is allowing me to log in. So in this similar way, I can go ahead and say allow, or I can just say never, and I can open up groups. So I can go and open up groups. So this will go and hit a server, and from that server it will fetch the list of all the groups I am involved in. So we have some code written which is being checked by some other server, right? So that is something which is done via this way. So what exactly is happening? You as the client is just having access to this page. Whenever you click over here, so a new window comes up, right? New window comes up over here, and it's this side like the group signal private messenger has been opened. This request goes from internet to the web server, the Facebook web server. The Facebook web server checked like this request is coming out from group page. What is that page? That page is this. This request is coming out from this page. It tracks the request, it sends to the application server. Application server checks that this request belongs to the group. I'm just giving you an example. It is dependent on the developer how he or she is making up the application. But here this request goes to the app server, and then this app server always checks up the database server. And in the database server, what he will find? He will find a reference to the groups, all the groups which are being like assigned to me, or all the groups of which I am the part. So it sees groups, and it sees my name. Oh, he wants group of name Anand, and like it lists down all the groups, it returns it back to the app server return it back to the client. So in the similar way, you can store your group database in one server. You can have another database server for another type of functionality, and you can link it again to the app server. So that depends on what kind of architecture you are following up. But there is one more word which I want you to take up today. That is MVC, which is nothing but model, view, and control. So this is a design pattern. As said, in today's world, we have so many servers, we have so many languages, we have so much of data. So to manage that, we need a design pattern. And what is that design pattern? In that design pattern, we create a files. So as we have these files, in the similar way, we have HTML files, we have CSS files, we have Bootstrap files. So these are the files which are for the view, and like the browser understand these files. So this is nothing but view files. Whenever there is a click on some button on HTML, that click is recognized and is being sent to a server. So it might be a server or a language on the server, or it may be a client side. So JavaScript. So for example, JavaScript will come under controller. So if I will say JS, so JS comes under controller, and like this is controlling of the user actions. But this JavaScript language is being compiled or executed on the browser. What does this mean? We will talk about it later in our tutorials. As of now, just try to understand that yes, JavaScript is also controlling languages. Whenever there is some user action on the view which you are looking at, so this is the view. Whenever you perform some action, so that action requires some processing to happen, and then the results are passed back again. So the processing part which is done by the controller, and the data which is being stored is stored in the database server. That is nothing but modeling. When you say that you're modeling up your application, it means that you're creating up the model for the database, how to store the database, how many tables should be there, what should be the like primary key for a table, and how should the connections be made, how many foreign keys should be there, how many indexes should be made if you're using a MySQL. So in the similar way, you can use MongoDB, which is nothing but a flat file based database. Again, do not go deep into inside these things if you are just a starter or newbie. I would suggest you to first grasp HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and JavaScript. So these are enough languages to understand for starting up to build up an web application. So before we close up this chapter, there is one more thing which I want to discuss, that is single page application. What exactly is single page application? So I have copy pasted one screenshot from my HDFC bank account. So whenever I go ahead and click on this account summary, what happens is it shows me up this message: please wait while your page get loads. So this part of the page never gets reloaded again. Similarly, this part never gets reloaded again. If I click over here, what part changes is only this part, which I have mentioned by a cross. Only this part changes. These part do not get even refreshed. So it means that a single page was given to the browser at the time this URL was hit for the first time, and after that, whenever you are hitting up something, only the part of the page is being changed. So this is nothing but single page application, and this is why like these single page applications are more powerful, efficient, performance effective, because they do not re-render the whole page again, it just renders the part. And Angular is one of the technology, one of the framework which is being used to develop single page applications. And this application, this website, our website is being built upon Angular 11. This is also a single page application, and like this application is built up like on Angular 11, as I said you, and it just changes the middle part. So if you go over here and if I just click on disclaimer or data privacy, you just see that in both these two, the things which are changing are from here, from this image. below this image, this disclaimer button, if I click over here, things changes. But the above thing, like we welcome you and this bar and this particular like bar, it like horizontal lane, these that does not change. So only the things which are over here they change, and this is how like this is being made. So let me reiterate myself and like introduce you to this course. So in this course, we will be just talking about these four languages, which are nothing but HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. We will be understanding the basics of website designing, and at the end, like we might be like setting up a server and like taking up things back to the browser. So my agenda of this series is like I will complete up this series for the beginners, and then I will start up the Angular series, Angular's tutorial, like how I was able to build up this particular app and like what are the benefits of Angular. But as of now, stay tuned and please do not forget to subscribe the channel. And I am here for you. Please feel free to drop up comments and ask me questions as you can. Thank you guys. Have a great day.